What's up, Woodworking Nation, and welcome back to Armor God Woodworks, man. I just wanted to bring you into our assembly room and show you one of the latest toys that we got up here. This is the Castle face frame assembly table. It's 4 feet by 8 feet. Super nice unit, and we've been thinking about buying one of these for a couple of years. First time I saw one was up in Atlanta. We actually ended up buying the pocket hole machine at that time, and now we've purchased the Castle face frame assembly table. Now this is one of those purchases that we've been looking at them for a while and looking at the different pros and cons of all kinds of different brand names that are out there. And so the Castle, we've already got, like I said, we've got the pocket hole cutter, and so we kind of wanted to stick with the same company because I really like the way that all their machines work. They're flawless. They're really smooth. And so, we just wanted to give this a try. And so far, this thing is awesome. It was really easy to assemble. It came in, every piece on here was disassembled. And so you do have some assembly time. It took me and my dad about 3.5 hours to put it together. And that included the plumbing for the airlines and all that stuff. There are options that you can buy with this table, which we went on ahead and bought them. And so you can see up top, it's got a gantry that runs from one end to the other. The gantry is about 9 feet long. The table's 8 feet long, so it will kind of run by. And so the bottom right here, that's your square edge on the bottom that holds your material. And then over here is your 90-degree return. So you run your style there and put your rail here. And I use spacers to put all my stuff together. And the thing that's really awesome about this is there's no more fumbling around with clamps. Your drill's always right here. The drill stays in this, so the drill's always right there, and it works really great. The sliding arm is really smooth. It runs on about 6 or 8 ball bearings, and I mean, it is so smooth whenever you're pushing it across. There is some adjustments you have to make with the gantry to make sure that it's perfectly square with the table, and that way that the arm will roll like it's supposed to, because if you don't have that just right, the arm won't roll. It gets a little caught. So you need to just take a little bit extra time. It's easy to adjust. There's a couple of set screws on each end, and you just adjust it until you get it where it just rolls flawless. It does have a melamine top to it, so if you're using glue or anything like that, scrapes right off, no problem. And the clamps are really, really strong. One thing that I will recommend, which it kind of recommends this in the instructions when you're assembling it, you need a regulator. And even though this thing has, I think it's got 2 or 3 regulators on it already to control the speed of the gun. And you also have another one that controls the actuators on your clamps. And I think there's another one on the back that controls the main air going to the table. And so we also added an air-water separator at our line, and then we ran an air hose over to this machine. One thing that you need to make sure that you've got plenty of air volume. You can't run less than a 1/2-inch line to this thing, or you just don't have enough air power at all. The volume needs to be there to run the gun. Once the clamps are set, there's no more air needed for that. But it does take at least a 1/2-inch line to run the gun. Eventually, I'm probably going to upgrade that to at least a 3/4 because it does kind of draws down on the air, and you'll notice that whenever I put this box together, you'll kind of notice that it draws down a little bit on it, and so I'm probably going to have to upgrade that at some point. So, anyways, I've got a lot of material that I'm putting together. I'm building some boxes for a buddy of mine. And so all it is it's 2 rails and 2 stiles. That's all it is. I mean, I got one on each end and then one at the top and bottom. And you'll see these spacers. I've got the wood spacers right there. Those are about 13/16 to 7/8 an inch, because that's how high I want the box up off the floor. And so whenever I put my stiles, my rail will sit down on top of those, and that'll give me my space, and then I'll flush the other one at the top and clamp it all down. But if you're looking for a face frame assembly table, there's a lot of them out there, but I can tell you from my personal usage that this one right here is awesome, man. It comes with, you can see it's got 3 clamps on the table. I really was kind of concerned about it only having 3. I would like to have 4, But once you get using this thing and you realize why there's 3 on there, because you need room to get that gun in there sometimes to screw, you know, up and down. And if you've got 4 on there, it just doesn't give you enough room. So the 3 clamps is plenty. They're easy to move up and down. You just grab it like this and you can just slide them up and down, and they're real easy. I mean, you can see how easy that moves, and it doesn't slow you down at all. I'm actually able to build just using this assembly table and not fumbling with clamps and my drill, wherever it may end up being. I can build about 4 face frames in the time it was taking me to build 1 before we had this assembly table. So the speed is phenomenal. Once you figure out, you know, what's going to make you fast, and you'll continue to get better. It gets easier and easier every time you use it. You get faster and faster. And so, you know, once you get real comfortable with this machine, then, you know, it's really easy to operate, and it's easy to learn. It's easy to teach somebody else that's never used one. I mean, it's just, I don't know why I hadn't had one before. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed in myself, to be honest with you, that it took me this long to, you know, buy one of these things. I guess it takes me a long time to realize the benefits of modern machinery, I guess. But anyways, I'm gonna put one of these boxes together and just kind of show you how it works, and just, you know, sit tight and watch. So one thing I will tell you that makes your whole life a lot easier. I bought a Milwaukee pack-out system, and that keeps all my spacers and my screws, and everything's right there. And I've actually got it's 2 different trays. And so it's on a dolly. I can roll it around. I can move it wherever I want to. If I want it on that end of the table, I use it on that end of the table. If I need it somewhere else in the shop, I can move it around, and it's real simple, and it's not heavy, and it fits in this spot perfect. And so the top section's got all my screws and my spacers in it, and then you can see right here, that's where I keep all my plans for the cabinets with the face frames on it that I'm building. And we kind of had to figure out how to mount that, because it's a double clipboard, because my papers are I think they're 24 inches long or something like that. So we got a double clipboard we got from Amazon, and we got a computer monitor mount that just kind of, it screws up underneath that table over there, and so it just kind of I mean, I can move it if I want to, but it adjusts all the way around. Like, I can move it right over to my table, and I mean, it's just a monitor mount, so I can grab it like this, and I can move it right over where I'm working. I added this little piece down at the bottom just so I can hold my calculator and my scale rule, just in case I, you know, need to double check something and make sure that all my measurements are adding up to what they need to be. So whatever it takes to make your job more convenient is going to not only if it makes it more convenient, it's probably going to make it faster. So that's the way I look at it. Convenience is speed. And, you know, that's what we're all about, just trying to get products in and out, in and out, in and out. And, you know, the faster we are, then the more time we've got to do other things. So anyhow, I'm going to put one of these boxes together, just show you kind of how quick it is, and sit tight. So I've already got my style cut, and I want to make sure that I put the pretty side down. This wood is a Koya. It's an exterior grade wood. It's I think it's kind of a newer product, but it looks like pressure treated pine, but it's not. This is a natural material, and this stuff is awesome outside. So if you're doing, and all this stuff's going to be outside, so I need something good next year, but I also need something that's kiln dried. And this stuff right here, it cuts good, it sands out good, it's beautiful when it's finished. And so this is what we're using, a Koya. It's about $11 a board foot, which is a good bit more expensive than some of our other material, but it's well worth the money, and it's flawless outside. So this is one of my styles right here, and we just push this right on the end. And this is a couple of the rails. You can see I've already got my pocket holes cut in it. That's the Castle pocket hole. That's what it looks like, and it drills a hole in the end, so that way you're not busting out the end with your screw, because if you bust out the end, it'll leave a gap in there, and you don't want that to happen. So pocket hole with the Castle machine. And I try to put you can see how it's dark on that side, a little bit better looking on that side. All this stuff will sand out. So, you know, you kind of want to put your prettiest side out so that it doesn't take as much to sand. So what we do is we take this rail, put it on the bottom, and then we slide this over. We want to leave our pocket hole open, so we just slide it over a little bit, clamp that in place. Screw that piece down, we'll grab the other rail, put it up here at the top, make sure everything's flush where it needs to be. Clamp that down. Now we've got that one side done. Let the air off of those. Get this side, run it down on the table, bring it over here, clamp it, make sure this is flush and pulled tight. Clamp it. That's pretty much it. That's my frame for the box that we're building, and you can see my screws are in there nice and smooth. Everything's a lot more flush whenever you use one of these assembly tables, because you don't have nothing will slip. That thing pushes it down really hard to the table, and so it just makes everything so much better, and it makes it so much faster. So if you're in the market for a face frame assembly table, if you're looking to speed up your shop process, your building process, this is definitely going to be a game changer for you. It does take up a good bit of room. It takes up you need about 9-10 foot of wall space, and then you need it's about 4 feet deep, somewhere around there, 3.5, 4 feet deep. So it does take up a good bit of room, but we had enough room in this. This used to be our old sanding room. And so now we just kind of made some adjustments in the shop and made it work. So anyways, the Castle machine, if you're looking for something awesome, man, and a good way to, a good way to speed up your shop, and a really good way to make your product be a lot better than it is with, using hand clamps and stuff like that. And it is pricey. This thing's about, I think it was $10,000 or $12,000 by the time it was, by the time we got it in our shop. That's what it was with taxes. I think that's how much it was, somewhere between 10 and 12. So it is a little bit costly, but that was with all the accessories. I mean, we got everything that they had with this machine. We bought it, and so you can get a little bit cheaper, but you're not gonna have the drill holder. You're not gonna have some things that you really are gonna find that are a lot more convenient. With the drill being hooked to the machine, it's always there. You don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to worry about changing out batteries, because the battery doesn't die. It's on air. So, that's another thing that saves you a little bit of time. The power's always there. You don't have to worry about it getting weak. It's, it's running on air, so you're good. But, if you're looking for a really awesome machine, looking to, upgrade your shop and really improve your productivity, this is going to be the way to do it. So, anyways, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do to this video. Share it with your friends, and go out there and get you a Castle machine, man, and tell them the Lumberjack sent you. And hopefully, I'm sure they'll be back in Atlanta this August, and so we're going to stop by and show them some pictures of our machine and everything, and let them know, hey, y'all are good salesmen, and we got one, and we thank you for it. But anyways, I just, man, I hope y'all have a blessed day. I hope everything's going good for you. I hope that your walk with Christ is just really good. I hope you're really healthy in your relationship with Jesus Christ. If you need prayer, if you need, any kind of guidance or whatever, I'll be glad to pray with you. I'll be glad to, share what I can with you. I'll be glad to help you in any way I can. Because, I mean, honestly, none of this stuff matters. None of it at all. It doesn't matter. What matters is our relationship with Jesus Christ and how we lead other people to Jesus Christ. Because it never tells you in the Bible to go out and build cabinets, but it does tell you to go forth and make disciples of all nations. So if we're going to do what Jesus told us to do, then that's what we need to do, and that's what we're here to do. So anyways, if you got any questions or comments about any of that, man, please feel free to hit me up and let me know. I just want you to be as healthy as you can in your relationship with Christ. So, man, y'all have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next one.